modern America, a new kind of dynasty is taking shape, not with crowns or castles, but with grit, genius, and unstoppable ambition. These are the Chinese-American families who built billion-dollar empires from scratch, and in the process, reshaped everything from the phones in our hands to the skylines of our cities. Some began with nothing more than an idea. Others brought their success from Asia and turned it into raw power in the US economy. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the 10 richest Chinese-American families and how they quietly rewrote the meaning of the American dream. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss stories like this one. And coming in at number 1, we've got the undisputed heavyweight on this list. A man whose company has become the beating heart of the AI revolution. He's been called the Taylor Swift of tech. The one and only Jensen Huang, co-founder and CEO of Nvidia AI. The rise of artificial intelligence has turned Nvidia from a successful chip maker into one of the most valuable companies on the planet, pushing Huang's family fortune into the stratosphere, now estimated between $90 and $120 billion. Jensen's story reads like a Hollywood script. Born in Taiwan in 1963, his parents sent him and his brother to the US chasing a better education. They landed not in Silicon Valley, but in rural Kentucky, at a boarding school that doubled as a reform school, where Jensen literally scrubbed toilets every day. Eventually, he reunited with his parents in Oregon, and that's where his love for computers and video games ignited. He earned his engineering degree at Oregon State, then a master's at Stanford. Then, on his 30th birthday in 1993, sitting in a Denny's diner with 2 friends, he sketched out a dream on a napkin to build a chip that could render lifelike 3D graphics for video games. That napkin became Nvidia. For years, Nvidia ruled the gaming world. Their GPUs, graphics processing units, delivered jaw-dropping visuals that defined an entire generation of gamers. Huang, rocking his now iconic black leather jacket, became a legend in tech circles. But behind the scenes, he saw something bigger. He realized the same GPUs that made video games beautiful could also teach machines to think. So, in the 2010s, Jensen went all in on AI, betting billions when almost nobody else believed in it. Wall Street thought he was crazy, but then the AI boom hit. The rise of tools like ChatGPT proved him right, and suddenly Nvidia's chips became the most essential gear in the global AI gold rush. Demand exploded. Nvidia's value didn't just climb, it skyrocketed, past $1 trillion, then 2. And in the summer of 2025, it briefly broke the $3 trillion mark. Jensen Huang's wealth soared with it, placing him among the richest people alive. His journey isn't just about success, it's about transformation. From a Taiwanese kid cleaning bathrooms in Kentucky to a global visionary fueling the future of AI, Jensen Huang didn't just chase the American dream, he reprogrammed it. At number 2, we have a man who didn't build his empire with code or concrete, but with scalpels, science, and sheer vision. Dr. Patrick Soon Shiong, surgeon, scientist, entrepreneur, a pioneer who redefined how we fight cancer, and in the process, became one of the richest doctors on the planet. With an estimated net worth of around $12 billion, his story is nothing short of extraordinary. A journey from apartheid-era South Africa to the very top of American medicine. Soon Shiong was born in South Africa to Chinese parents who fled mainland China during World War II. Growing up under apartheid, he was officially labeled Chinese, stuck in a world designed to hold him back, but he refused to stay in his lane. By age 23, he'd already graduated from medical school and became one of the first non-white residents at Johannesburg's General Hospital. Driven by ambition and the promise of opportunity, he moved to the United States, where he joined UCLA's medical school as a transplant surgeon. But he quickly grew frustrated with the brutal blast-everything method of traditional chemotherapy. He dreamed of something smarter, a precision weapon that could attack cancer cells directly while sparing the healthy ones. That dream became reality. He developed Abraxane, a breakthrough cancer drug that wraps chemotherapy in tiny protein, nanoparticles, delivering the treatment straight to tumors with fewer side effects. It was revolutionary. Soon Shiong went on to found APP Pharmaceuticals and Abraxis Bioscience, selling them in separate deals for a combined $9 billion. He likes to joke that he became a billionaire by accident, but Patrick Soon Shiong wasn't done. Not even close. He launched Nantworks, a network of companies working at the cutting edge of genomics, AI, and healthcare innovation. And in 2018, he stunned the media world by purchasing the Los Angeles Times for $500 million, restoring one of America's most iconic newspapers to local ownership. Oh, and if you're an NBA fan, he's also a part owner of the LA Lakers. Medicine, tech, media, and sports. Dr. Patrick Soon Shiong's influence stretches across all of them, a man who started as a healer and became an empire builder. At number 3, we move from the operating room to the global stage of commerce and courtside culture. Meet Joseph Tsai, co-founder and chairman of Alibaba Group, and here in the US, better known as the owner of the Brooklyn Nets. With a fortune estimated between $9.7 and $11.8 billion, Tsai stands at the crossroads of Chinese e-commerce, American finance, and international sports. Born in Taipei, Taiwan, Tsai's American story began at just 13, when his parents sent him to an elite boarding school in New Jersey. He went on to Yale, both for undergraduate and law school, before landing in New York City as a high-powered tax lawyer. Later, he shifted to private equity in Hong Kong, pulling in a comfortable $700,000 a year. Then in 1999, everything changed. A chance meeting with a former English teacher named Jack Ma set his life on a completely new path. In a cramped apartment in Hangzhou, Jack Ma pitched his dream, an online marketplace called Alibaba. Tsai was hooked. He walked away from his cushy job and his $700,000 salary to join Ma's scrappy startup for just $50 a month. It was the best bet of his life. While Jack Ma was the face of Alibaba, Joe Tsai was the backbone, the legal and financial architect who built the company's entire corporate structure from the ground up. He steered Alibaba through its most crucial years, culminating in a record-shattering $25 billion IPO on the New York Stock Exchange in 2014. The biggest in history at the time. Today, beyond tech, Tsai owns the WNBA's New York Liberty and remains a powerful figure bridging East and West. Joseph Tsai is the definition of a global player, equally at home in a Silicon Valley boardroom or sitting courtside at Barclays Center. A man who proves that sometimes the boldest move you can make is walking away from comfort to chase conviction. At number 4, we have a family that built their empire one takeout container at a time. Meet Andrew and Peggy Cherng, the duo behind Panda Express, the fast casual chain that brought American Chinese cuisine to the masses together. They've turned a single-family restaurant into the largest Asian dining brand in the US, with a combined net worth of around $3.6 billion. Their story is a perfect mix of heritage, hustle, and brains. Andrew Cherng came to the US from China in 1966. His father was a master chef, and in 1973, Andrew and his family opened Panda Inn, a sit-down restaurant in Pasadena, California. Enter Peggy Cherng. Born in Burma, she moved to the US for school and earned a PhD in electrical engineering. She spent years as a successful software developer until Andrew pitched a bold idea. What if they took their most popular dishes and served them fast food style? Peggy left her engineering career and joined Andrew. Best decision ever. In 1983, the first Panda Express opened. Andrew brought the recipes, but Peggy was the secret weapon. Using her engineering and systems expertise, she created processes for everything: inventory, supply chains, even customer feedback. Every scoop of orange chicken had to taste exactly the same, whether in California or New York. The results? Explosive growth. Today, there are over 2,500 Panda Express restaurants worldwide, most of them owned directly by the Cheongs, giving them total control over quality. And through their charity, Panda Cares, they've donated hundreds of millions to children's health and education. At number 5, the story is less about a family name and more about an unbreakable partnership. Meet David's son and John Tu, co-founders of Kingston Technology, the world's largest independent maker of memory products. These two men didn't just start a business. They built a fortune, lost it all, and then built an even bigger one together. Each is worth over $11 billion, but their story is really about resilience and loyalty. David's son was born in Taiwan, John Tu in mainland China. Both came to the US in the 1970s. They met on a rec basketball court, hit it off, and soon pooled their savings to start their first memory company, Camington, out of a garage. They struck gold and became millionaires, until Black Monday, October 19th, 1987, wiped out their wealth. Most people would have quit, Not them. They spotted a gap in the memory chip market created by the crash. And Kingston Technology was born too, and Sun built a legendary company culture. They sat in open cubicles with employees and treated everyone like family. In 1996, when they sold 80% of Kingston to SoftBank for $1.5 billion, they immediately set aside $100 million for employee bonuses. 3 years later, they bought the company back for just $450 million, reclaiming control and continuing to dominate the market. Today, despite immense wealth, they remain humble, philanthropic, and committed to their employees, proving you can build a global empire without losing your soul. Number 6 belongs to a man whose software became a verb almost overnight. Eric Yuan, founder and CEO of Zoom, went from determined engineer in China to Silicon Valley billionaire. A story that's pure persistence in action. Born in Shandong Province, China, Yuan dreamed of connecting people from a young age. He was frustrated by long train rides to see his girlfriend and thought, there has to be a better way. After hearing Bill Gates speak about the dot-com boom, he set his sights on Silicon Valley, but America didn't make it easy. Over 2 years, his visa was rejected 8 times. On the 9th try, he finally made it in 1997 and landed a job as one of the first engineers at WebEx, a web conferencing startup. Yuan excelled. When Cisco acquired WebEx for $3.2 billion in 2007, he became VP of engineering. But he noticed a problem. The software was clunky, frustrating, and not mobile-friendly. He pitched improvements to management and was rejected. So at 41, he did what great entrepreneurs do. He quit his job, and 40 engineers followed him. Zoom was born. For years, growth was steady. Then in 2020, the world shut down. Suddenly, Zoom became the planet's virtual town square. Usage exploded, stock prices soared, and Eric Yuan became a household name. His story is a powerful reminder. Listen to your customers, follow your vision, and never, ever give up. At number 7, we have a true internet pioneer, a man whose name was once synonymous with the web itself. Jerry Yang. Together with his family, he sits on a fortune estimated around $3 billion, built from being at the forefront of the digital frontier. Yang's story is classic Silicon Valley, a brilliant immigrant kid who sketched a world-changing idea in a dorm room. Jerry's father passed away when he was just 2, and at age 10, his family immigrated to San Jose, California. He arrived knowing only one English word, shoe, but he picked up the language fast. He went on to Stanford, studying electrical engineering, where he met his future co-founder, David Filo. Supposedly working on their PhDs, they spent most of their time surfing the chaotic early internet. As a side project, they built a directory to track their favorite websites. They called it Jerry and David's Guide to the World Wide Web. In the Wild West of the early web, this simple list was revolutionary. Traffic exploded. They renamed it Yahoo, dropped out of Stanford, and secured funding. When Yahoo went public in 1996, Jerry became a billionaire virtually overnight. Of course, the road wasn't without stumbles. He famously turned down a $44.6 billion buyout from Microsoft in 2008, a decision heavily criticized as Yahoo later fell behind Google. But perhaps his smartest move ever? Leading Yahoo's $1 billion investment in a little-known Chinese e-commerce startup called Alibaba back in 2005. That bet is now considered one of the greatest tech investments of all time. Today, Jerry Yang continues to shape tech through his venture capital firm, AME Cloud Ventures, investing in startups like Zoom and Evernote, proving his influence in tech spans generations. Coming in at number 8, we have 2 brothers who show the power of old world wealth meeting modern vision, Ronnie and Gerald Chen. While they inherited a massive Hong Kong real estate dynasty, they didn't just sit on it. Instead, they turned it into global influence, particularly in American academia and biotech, with a combined fortune of roughly $2 billion. The story begins with their father, Chen Tianqiao, founder of Hang Lung Group in 1960. Hang Lung grew into one of Hong Kong's biggest property empires, but the brothers' path took a different route. Educated in the U.S., Ronnie earned an MBA from USC, while Gerald earned a doctorate from Harvard. This bicultural education gave them a unique edge, the ability to bridge Asian commerce and American innovation. While Ronnie managed the family's real estate empire in Hong Kong, the brothers launched their own investment firm, Morningside Group, in 1986. Gerald's scientific expertise turned it into a pioneering biotech venture capital powerhouse. funding startups developing groundbreaking treatments. Their influence is perhaps most visible through philanthropy. In 2014, their foundation donated $350 million to Harvard School of Public Health, the largest single donation in the university's history at the time. In honor of their father, the school was renamed the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. The Chans are a perfect example of a dynasty that understands real power isn't just owning buildings, it's funding discoveries that will shape the future. They are a bridge between East and West, legacy and innovation. At number 9, we have a family that perfectly captures a modern trend. Fortunes made in China's tech boom. Finding a new home in America. Meet Chen Tianqiao and his family, a story of digital domination, personal reinvention, and a mission to unlock the secrets of the human brain. With a net worth of around $1.1 billion, Chen's journey is nothing short of extraordinary. Chen is a true pioneer. In 1999, he and his family launched Shanda Interactive Entertainment, and in doing so, he didn't just build a company, he practically created China's online gaming industry. Shanda's flagship game, Legend of Mir 2, became a cultural phenomenon, drawing millions of players and raking in massive profits. Chen also mastered the freemium model long before it became a global standard. Free-to-play games with optional paid upgrades. At Shanda's peak, Chen was the undisputed king of China's digital entertainment scene. Then in a move that shocked the business world, he walked away. After taking Shanda private in 2012, he sold off his gaming assets and relocated his family and fortune, first to Singapore and eventually to a sprawling estate in Newport Beach, California. Why the sudden pivot? It was deeply personal. At the height of his success, Chen suffered debilitating panic attacks. That struggle ignited a new mission, understanding the brain. In 2016, he and his wife, Chrissy, made a stunning $115 million donation to Caltech, founding the Tianqiao and Chrissy Chen Institute for Neuroscience. Their goal: fund cutting-edge research into the brain, tackling anxiety, depression, and Alzheimer's. Aiming to unlock some of humanity's deepest mysteries, Chen hasn't stopped there. He's quietly become one of America's largest foreign landowners, with his investment group reportedly buying nearly 200,000 acres of timberland in Oregon for around $85 million in 2015. The Chen family represents a new kind of wealth, built in China, brought to America, and now being used to tackle some of the biggest challenges facing humanity. Rounding out our list is a name that defines the rise of Chinese-American tech success, the family of the late Charles B. Wang. Though he passed away in 2018, his legacy and the empire he built paved the way for a generation of entrepreneurs. This is a classic immigrant story, starting with upheaval and ending with a software powerhouse. Wang was born in Shanghai in 1944, and his early life was upended by the Chinese Civil War. At just 8 years old, his family fled to Queens, New York. Like many immigrants, his beginnings were humble. He didn't speak a word of English and had to adapt quickly. But inside him burned a fierce combination of intellect, ambition, and relentless drive. After graduating from Queens College, Wang recognized the enormous potential of the emerging computer industry. In 1976, armed with a credit card and 3 partners, he launched Computer Associates International, a bold leap into uncharted territory. The software world was still in its infancy, dominated by giants like IBM, but Wang had a vision all his own. While competitors sold brand new programs, he focused on software that helped mainframe computers from different companies communicate more efficiently. It was a small niche, but an incredibly lucrative one. Wang was famous for his aggressive, take-no-prisoners business style. Through a series of ruthless acquisitions, he absorbed competitors and grew Computer Associates into a global powerhouse. By the 1990s, CA was one of the largest independent software vendors in the world, and Charles Wang had become a billionaire. He shattered the bamboo ceiling in corporate America, becoming one of the first and most prominent Chinese-American tech CEOs. But Wang's impact went far beyond the boardroom. He was a passionate philanthropist and a pillar of Long Island. In 2000, he bought the struggling New York Islanders, saving the team from relocation. He also donated millions to Stony Brook University, founding the Charles B. Wang Center to promote understanding between Asian and American cultures. The Wang family fortune, built on grit, vision, and sheer perseverance, is a foundational chapter in the story of Chinese-American success and wealth, proof that an immigrant kid from Queens can leave a lasting mark on the world. From the first software pioneers to the giants driving the AI revolution, these 10 families show us what ambition and influence really look like. Their stories are more than wealth. They're tales of migration, vision, and building empires across oceans. These families aren't just part of America's story, they're shaping its future. In today's globalized world, fortunes aren't just made locally, they span continents and leave a mark on the world. If you enjoyed diving into these incredible journeys, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.